You see my beautiful punim?
We do. We see your beautiful pudding. We're very honored to have with us tonight, Rabbi Shlomie Naparstek, all the way from New York, and he's going to share with us about a very special Chabad program called OneMitzvah.org. So first of all, Rabbi, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's late there.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it as well.
Oh, good. So give us a little bit of a thumbnail. What is OneMitzvah.org?
Okay, so I noticed that you have a charity going on.
We do.
Okay. I would assume that it's being hosted on a platform.
That's correct.
What platform are you using?
Charity.com/Base Chicago /Epstein.
Okay. So everyone, first of all, please donate.
Absolutely. I love this guy.
Secondly, yeah. What we've created at Chabad headquarters, which is where I work, is a model of a charity campaign, which everyone here is probably very familiar with, for mitzvahs. That is exactly the program. So the best thing I could do is actually share screen.
Okay,
to
so
show you.
Make you co-host so you can do that.
I think I am.
Okay, are you?
Disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, no, I gotta do this. I'm gonna do it this way. Make co-host. There you go.
All right.
Okay. Share screen, please.
Check this out. This is OneMitzvah.org, the landing page.
Okay.
So as you see, we have currently in this past year 50,000 Jews all over the world.
Crazy.
Doing over 1 million mitzvahs already. This is a couple months ago where we surpassed the 1 million mark. And I think the big question is, how in the world do you get 50,000 people to be doing over 1 million mitzvahs? What is the secret behind this? So it's very simple. It's so simple that it's profound. What we've created is modeled after a charity campaign, and I'll show you in a second how it looks. But anyone, anywhere, could become a mitzvah influencer. That's the idea. So we've gone the next step. We added another layer. I'm sure as a rabbi, it's your job to encourage people to do mitzvahs, and people heed your call as best as they can. But Batsheva Klein over here, or Bob Wellis, or whoever else is on this Zoom, may not feel that it's really their job to encourage other people to do mitzvahs, because they're not a rabbi, they're not a rebbitzin, they're not in the spiritual game. And what we've endeavored to do is switch that narrative. Every single person is able to be a mitzvah influencer, and I'm sure that takes a lot out of a person to become a mitzvah influencer, going to a family, friends, encouraging them to do mitzvahs. But with this platform, we make it super easy, super easy. So let me show you what it would look like for any one of you to become a mitzvah influencer. Start a OneMitzvah campaign, signing in. Sign in. You have here different mitzvah projects, all pre-populated, meaning ready to go for any life cycle event you could think of.
Can you show us one in particular? Can you show us one?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you one. Super. I just to understand that these keep on getting updated on a weekly basis. So we always have more and more. We're up to almost 30 of them.
Wow.
You see, do a mitzvah for the war in Israel. Obviously, it was a very popular one this year. A couple different projects. There's Rabbi's birthday. There's a yard site. There's Shiva Memorial. So you can imagine Refuah Shlema, healing the sick. Wedding. So I'm gonna ask here. Let's get a volunteer. Rabbi, can you choose a volunteer?
I'm gonna pick
a volunteer from
Pesach Perlman. That's it. I volunteered you. Unmute. You're in.
Okay, Pesach.
Good evening.
Which mitzvah campaign do you think we should delve into right now? Open up. What's speaking to you? You have maybe a yard sale or a birthday coming up? You tell me. Anything you see here.
How about sports theme?
Sports theme. Okay, this is for a bar mitzvah boy who loves sports. We have here a little preview button. Okay, this is obviously a generic one. It doesn't have anyone specific. But here is a very, it's set up almost completely. It is set up completely to have your OneMitzvah campaign during your bar mitzvah or prior to your bar mitzvah. What we have is a lot of bar mitzvah boys making this a mitzvah project. Before the bar mitzvah, they want to get 100 mitzvahs. They want to get 50 mitzvahs. They want to get 10 mitzvahs, and they want to get 1,000 mitzvahs. Everyone has a different goal. The goal here is customizable. All the wording here is customizable. The banners here are all customizable. We work with people who make different designs that it fits with their bar mitzvah theme. And all these mitzvahs are customizable. Some people say, I want to have so many different types of mitzvahs to offer. I want 10 different types of mitzvahs. I could show you campaigns which just has one option, right? They want to be very specific. You can make teams. You could have all your sisters and brothers taking teams. And it literally works like a charity campaign, but you do a mitzvah. So let's say Uncle Howard wants to do a mitzvah in honor of the bar mitzvah. He looks at, recite Shema, something I don't really do too often. Do this. We have an option today, do it for a week, daily for a week, other amount. You submit it. And the beautiful thing is that the bar mitzvah boy gets a message. Uncle Howard took a mitzvah in your honor. So you get a message, you know who's doing mitzvahs in your honor. Uncle Howard also gets an email, follow-up email, how's the mitzvah going for you, a reminder. Uncle Howard will also show up in this bar over here. So it becomes like a community charity style, team building hype. And the bar mitzvah boy has just become a mitzvah influencer. And in order to set up a campaign like this, the brilliance of this is that here's something that charity doesn't have. So if you could ask Rabbi Epstein, in order to set up your charity campaign to go live, took a few days, maybe a few weeks. You gotta work with the team. You have to have the people in the back end. This system is anyone could go to OneMitzvah.org, open up an account. They could have a ready going campaign within 4 minutes.
Wow.
Within 4 minutes. Obviously, to customize it, we have cut almost literally everything on this page is customizable. So you can really rebrand the page and the way you want it to look. That will obviously take more time. We have a support desk for that. But if you just want to have something quick with one of our templates, within 4 minutes, you could have a campaign running. So you can imagine, so how do we get 50,000 people doing over 1 million mitzvahs? It was by these mitzvah influencers. We're getting there, hopefully. I wanted to have before Hashanah, but I don't know if we will have, but almost 1,000 mitzvah influencers, people who opened up campaigns.
How long has this project been going?
This project is about a year old.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a year old. It's one of many projects we do here at Chabad headquarters, and specifically the Mashiach office. That's the department I head. And this is a campaign. Our slogan is more mitzvahs, more often for Mashiach. Nice. So the idea is we want to seize every opportunity in people's lives for mitzvah generation, to generate mitzvahs. And here's a beautiful stat I could give you. We have over 50% of people who have opened up a campaign once do it again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we have someone did it for a bar mitzvah for their open up for their bar mitzvah for their cousin. A month later, they're like, oh, I want to do a birthday one for myself. We see that a lot happening because people realize how easy it is to harness this technology to make an event that's anyways happening. Your birthday's happening once a year anyway. Bar mitzvahs are going to happen. Life cycle events are going to happen. People have yard sites once a year anyway. And to seize these moments and to just infuse it with a little bit of meaning using this technology, and it's so simple. It takes so little out of your time. As I said, it takes 4 minutes to set up. And then you have this link. It says it's onemitzvah.org/Bob. You have a personal link that you can send to people. It's like a no-brainer once you've tasted it.
And is it purely
very similar to a charity campaign? You have organizations that are just doing it yearly because they see the benefit and how easy it is to pull off. this is what we're seeing on this end
And
as
it's
well.
completely self-serve. I mean, a person just can go on the OneMitzvah.org website and do it all on their own. Do they have to interact
Really.
with? Is there a process? Is there any kind of winnowing process? Do they have to pass some sort of standard? Do they have to do this through their rabbi? If someone's just
No,
watching at home, give us a little
no.
sense of how somebody would do this. Is there any kind of monitoring that they have to meet some sort of standard? Have to read Hebrew?
Right. It's a good question. So I think the best thing I could do is share screen again and show you the back end of what this looks like. This
Sure.
is anyone and everyone. We have people from all affiliations using OneMitzvah.org. We have big schools in Lakewood, very religious schools using it. And then we have some people, and we have extremely, individual person from Montana, non-religious whatsoever using it. It's open for all. It's a free platform sponsored for that purpose. By a wonderful sponsor, and it is so easy to set up, provided you have a little bit of technology literacy. So
Now you
if
call your
you're a person,
15-year-old cousin and he'll set it up for you in 10
yes,
minutes.
exactly. If you're 60 and over, you might need help from your 12-year-old nephew. But once you figure it out once, definitely you can definitely you know how it works. So what I'm gonna do is share screen again. I'm gonna show you the back end and how simple it is. And in a way, if, running an organization like this, everything has to come together kind of. So the front end has to be appealing, has to look, cool and hip. The back end has to work well. And when everything works, then all of a sudden you get 50,000 people doing a million mitzvahs. And I may say, with very minimal effort on our end, to build this took a lot of effort. There was a lot of sleepless nights. There was a lot of months of building it. Once it's working, it's an amazing tool that's just able to, and now we're able to work on the platform to make it better and better as it's running and as it's available for the public. So again, let me share screen here.
Please.
Okay. All right, let me give you a little bit of a tour. So you come to the landing page of OneMitzvah. I gave you the preview, but let's actually open up a campaign. I want to take the yard site campaign. So I clicked it, go down to the bottom, and I create my campaign. Okay, so this is the organization which I have. So I'm going to use this organization. If you don't have an organization, just make up an organization. Everyone has an organization. Just make, it's not, there's no vetting process here. It's just for your account. Here's what a backend looks like. It's going to ask you some general info, and you'll notice here everything's customizable. So you see this picture, which is pre-populated here for the yard site. I could put up a picture of my dad, so it looks
So you're
at,
doing it
it
in
has that
honor of,
personal
yeah.
touch. Yeah, you could put any picture here, tells you exactly what the file size. Again, ask your 12-year-old nephew for this. A little bit of help here, but what time zone you are, what your goal is. I think I'm gonna make my goal, I want to just do 7 mitzvahs. That's my goal, is gonna be 7 mitzvahs. The campaign name, it's going to
Well,
be,
it's not your yard site, I hope.
right. So you just do Mark's yard site. It'll ask you to choose a date. You want to do your campaign, a duration, when it starts, title, subtitle, these are all optional. Add a video, all optional. Submit. Let's go to the next page. All right, here's pre-populated again. These are the banners that you saw on the front end, those banners that were flowing from right to left. So I like these banners. They're yard site banners. Again, I could just click these buttons here, edit, put my own banners that I want. I want to put Mark's face here. Can do that as well. And we have a team helping. We have a team that can help with this. So if you have a little more
someone
time,
could, in theory, do it just on their own at home.
correct. But if you just email support@onemitzvah.org, we have people who can help you with this, definitely, over the phone, etc. But let's just, for the sake of just hitting through, you want to have a little bit of an intro paragraph. You want to have a little bit of an explanation paragraph, description. This is a generic description we have prepared. Maybe I want to write something about Mark. That's also available. Obviously, you can make it, you have different tools to make how you want this paragraph to look. And you submit again. We're going to go to our 4th page. Successful. And now it's the mitzvahs. So these are the generic mitzvahs. We have, wrapped tefillin, study Torah. But I want to do visit the sick. or I want to do any mitzvah. We have people putting in say Asher Yatz or say Moda'ani, meditation, whatever it may be. I can always add a mitzvah. I can always edit a mitzvah. What exactly the description of the mitzvah is, the picture of the mitzvah. Everything here is customizable to your liking. And then you could always add a mitzvah here on top. Next. And here's the last piece. It's going to ask you, what do you want? What do you want the unique link on the internet to be? So here it's OneMitzvah. I want it to be Mark's 30th. Mark's 30th. Submit. View campaign page. This is our live campaign. That's it. Mark's 30th. If you look on top over here, it says Mark's 30th. Everything I asked for was here. 7 mitzvahs is my goal. These are the mitzvahs I kept, the description, and we're ready to roll. It's live. It's on the internet. This is actual live campaign, which I'm going to delete after. But the point is that was probably 4 minutes.
Not even.
And this could be done. This could be done for every year, for every birthday, for every yard site. You have an option. Sometimes you want to continue this campaign. I like this campaign. I already have 30 people took mitzvahs on it. The next year it's Mark's 31st yard site. I'm going to keep this campaign and just up the goal, right? That's also a possibility. You make a whole nother campaign for Mark. These are all possibilities. And the vision is that we have just people as a mainstay, natural tendency. When you have a life cycle event coming up, you just open up a OneMitzvah because you know that you know it could be done. I will assure you that that we have a lot more nachas from the 10 mitzvah campaigns, the 50 mitzvah campaigns, than the 50,000 mitzvah campaigns. We have campaigns that are 50,000 people, big organizations behind it, many people on the marketing team. We had a campaign that went 30,000 mitzvahs just recently, and that's amazing. That's amazing. With a lot of money behind it, and they run it like a real charity campaign. And it was that one was done in for refuah shlema for someone, which actually he had a big refuah shlema, a big miracle afterwards. This happened recently, and that's amazing. But then you have the quiet campaigns of a person. Just this week, we had 3 campaigns open up with a goal of just 15 mitzvahs for my birthday and the duration of just a few hours, and it's quiet and without the big noise. But there's a lot more nachas in that, because the real goal of OneMitzvah is to understand that the big moments when we need a big a miracle from God and everyone's coming running and everyone's saying to Him, those are not only the moments which we should be focusing on our mitzvahs. What about someone wake up in the morning and say, hey, it's actually my birthday today. I can send a text to some cousins. Let's do some mitzvahs and honor my birthday. And I know they would love to do it. And a few hours later, it's done. You had some mitzvahs done in your honor, and you're back. The natural, is this a word? The naturalness of it. There's a lot of nachas in there. That's really the vision of OneMitzvah. Just fill the world with mitzvahs by people encouraging others from a grassroots level.
So I got a couple of quick questions. My first question is always a little bit personal. How did you get involved in this? How did you decide to make this your life? Do you have a lot of computer training? I mean, what's your personal sort of backstory to it?
No. With computer training, none at all.
You're qualified. You're hired.
I had
you have a 12-year-old nephew who you can call to help.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has a 12-year-old nephew, so that shouldn't be an issue. But the truth is, if you have a passion for something, you could always I know people who run multi-million-dollar companies and they don't know English in America.
Yeah.
And you just hire out, But the way I got involved in this was my dear mentor passed away this year, Rabbi Moshe Kotlarski, vice chairman of America's Lignani Chinuch, which is Chabad headquarters for in Hebrew basically, and he was not just vice chairman of the organization but also the chief innovator of Chabad programs at headquarters. So he hired me a few years ago. I worked for him, and he got sick. He suffered for over 2 years, and this was 2.5 years ago, where he was sitting he was sitting in the recovery room after an operation which they had hoped would have cured him from his cancer, and he took a resolution. He said, God gave me a new lease of life. The doctors told me, the doctors told him that if they hadn't caught it then, if they had caught it a month later, it would have been done. He decided to take a resolution to triple his efforts until then. And we're talking about someone who
Pretty
had
busy
fundraised
already.
about what?
He was pretty busy already.
Pretty busy already. We're talking about someone who's directing about 38 different institutions. Like the chairman and funding these institutions. Someone who, over a span of 50 years, fundraised upward of $2 billion for Chabad institutions over a span of 50 years, and didn't take a penny for himself. I mean, he had a salary, took a salary from the organization, but not very, very busy individual. So he took on a lot of different initiatives to help shluchim in the field, which are extra beyond what he was already doing. And his chief amongst them was a mitzvah project. When he was sitting in the hospital room, he didn't know what that would mean, what that would look like. He just had this desire to tell God that I'm gonna fill the world with mitzvahs. And it was shortly after was the Kinus Shluchim, the conference of Shluchim in New York, and he announced it. And he announced this to the world before he announced to his staff. We were all sitting there like, what's this? And so that's how I got involved. He tapped me to lead it. I did the research and the branding came to the from this big mitzvah project idea, came to the conclusion to go after a charity model. We have many other ideas, by the way, to fill the world with mitzvahs, and they're different models, different technologies, which is incredible stuff coming down the pipeline. But at least the charity model was a very easy. It was an easy model. It's a model like people are very familiar with it, not only from the technology standpoint, meaning we had a team of people who had already built the team at Rayston, which is a competitor to charity. They had already built a technology of this sort, so it was easy for them to build us. But also from the front end, talking about the public, people understand how these platforms work. Everyone's very familiar with a charity platform. People give money to these type of things, GoFundMe, all the time. So just to pitch it to how to people to understand how this works is very easy. It's not a new user experience. So it was just and it was based on the idea of making mitzvah influencers, because to fill the world with mitzvahs, the direct approach just isn't going to work. There's no way we got 1 million mitzvahs over the course of 1 year if it would have been just a mitzvah campaign, just like the direct mitzvah campaign. Everyone just do mitzvahs and inspire people to do mitzvahs and have advertisement and education to do mitzvahs all in one campaign. That wouldn't work. Instead, divert all our resource and energy to make a platform where other people can make campaigns. Let them make campaigns. Let's get 1,000 small campaigns, and it's been very, very effective. So that's how I got involved in this, and obviously, so Rabbi Shlomie passed away 3 months ago, so it's pretty raw, pretty fresh for us in the office. I was kind of like a junior member. I had joined the office just 3.5 years ago, and I worked with him hand in hand. So we had, I'm sure people who were working under him for 20 years. It's an honor, I guess you could say, that for this OneMitzvah project, which was his brainchild, and to entrust it into our hands was, it's something we've committed to perpetuating his legacy in that way. But that's the small answer. You want the real answer? How I got involved? So the real answer is, I originally came to Chabad headquarters to run the Mashiach office, which is all Mashiach education programs related. Being that the Mashiach issue, Mashiach education and whatnot is central to the Rebbe's worldview and the Rebbe's institution of building up Chabad all over the world. So we needed a central office to streamline ideas and programs. And one of the central themes within the Mashiach theme, and we definitely don't have enough time tonight to get into it because it's a really, really big topic, but definitely a central theme, is the knowledge and the mission to spread the knowledge of the following fact: that Maimonides, 850 years ago, 880 years ago, wherever we're holding now, wrote a very famous passage in his magnum opus, the Mishnah Torah, where he instructs the reader to always view the world as equally balanced. A very famous passage. Every act before you, view the world as equally balanced on a scale, and your one act can tip the scale. If it's a negative act, we'll tip it to negative, and if it's a positive act, we'll tip it to the positive. And in his words, which reverberate through history, do one mitzvah and tip the scale and bring salvation to yourself and the world around you. And the Rebbe took that one passage and said, the Rambam wrote it hundreds of years ago, but it resonates. It's more important than any other time in history than now. And the reason is because now it's not theoretical anymore. It's not just a mindset. To have the mindset, your next deed should be a good deed. Now it's not just a mindset. Now it is that next deed could be the one to bring Mashiach. Right? It's a basic tenet in Hasidic thought and Jewish thought that Mashiach is brought by us Jews, by doing good deeds to bring about that era, the Messianic era. And so because we're so close to that era, your one deed could be the one. So in the Rebbe's view, this became a real big pillar within the topic of Mashiach. The urgency and the knowledge to know that any moment could be the one moment. And so it was natural that the mitzvah campaign, or the OneMitzvah campaign, and that's why it's called OneMitzvah. The OneMitzvah is adopted from the Rambam, from the Maimonides. That one mitzvah, it was natural that it should fall under the rubric of the Mashiach office, because that is a very central idea that we're trying to perpetuate and we're trying to educate the world in. So there's a lot of education that goes along, and we have great media and YouTube channels and podcasts and a lot of other stuff that revolve around perpetuating this idea, supporting Chabad all over the world with content and programs. But central is this technology here, OneMitzvah.org online, which is just an actual, which is an actualization of this idea on the internet, which is where everyone lives these days. So it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing thing. What's amazing is that I work on this every single day, but it takes Rabbi Epstein to bring me out to Zoom for me to talk about it, to realize how actually amazing it is. Sometimes you don't even realize it's a pretty amazing thing. This thing called the internet, where we all live on, it's connecting billions of people, has the power to actualize this one mitzvah idea in ways that weren't imaginable even just 20 years ago. So that's what we're holding.
Well, this is remarkable. And as you said, if one mitzvah tips the scales, think of the over 1 million mitzvahs that you showed us in 50,000 teams. We really want to thank you for spending this time. Your passion is great. It's so easy. Even I could do it, and therefore anybody could do it. So is there anybody who wants to just quickly unmute and ask a question? Otherwise, we do want to let the rabbi go. Really appreciate his time. We don't want to use up any more.
Come on, ask a question. I want a question.
Somebody ask a question. Come on. Jay, you always have a question. Somebody ask a question. Show them that we've been paying attention.
Yeah. But you know what? Maybe it's just so easy and clear that no one has questions.
It is.
So I do have a question.
We got a question. All right.
All right. If you had to do like a review of who uses one mitzvah, is it the more observant, the more religious Jew, or is it a balance of non-affiliated, more secular type Jews? And I guess there's a follow-up if, I mean, do you have initiatives to reach out to, say non-Lubavitch, non-Hasidic type Jews, so Jews that wouldn't have, a yeshiva type background that might not even appreciate the perspective
That's a
that
great question.
yeah.
Right. So we don't have necessarily a good way to analyze the data, because we don't require people to really give their affiliation in make an account. The account is just name and email. It's like a really, really low friction. But just, I guess, anecdotally, I can say, because you could scroll through people's names and kind of see where they're from. We do know where they're from also, but I would say, and I would have to actually look up this because the last time I actually did, we analyzed it was a few months ago. But I'll delve into it again. I would say that opening up the OneMitzvah campaigns, people who open up campaigns are largely people who are religious. But I would say it's like 60-40. So you do have a nice amount of people who are not, who are semi-religious and just affiliated, who are opening up campaigns, although it's the minority. People taking mitzvahs, though, it's the opposite, which is interesting. So people actually taking mitzvahs on other people's campaigns are, you have just the really, really the most secular people. A mitzvah's for everyone. That's one thing that's amazing, is that I think I feel like 80 years ago, in the previous generation, a mitzvah was associated with a religious Jew did mitzvahs. If you're not religious Jew, you don't do mitzvahs. People don't associate that anymore. People, to just do a mitzvah, they don't it doesn't come with the approach. You have to be within the religious box. And so we've seen in people who are taking mitzvahs on people's campaigns, maybe it's 60-40 the other way, where you have non-religious people taking on mitzvahs. So that is what I would say, very much anecdotally. I don't have the exact science, but it would be it would be a real great exercise, now that we have such a critical mass, 50,000 people, to really find a way to analyze that. And in terms of your second question, so we have proudly many people outside the Lubavitch community opening up campaigns. We had a modern Orthodox, I guess you could say, modern Orthodox girls' high school out here in the tri-state area, already on their third campaign. And that's just recently, as that comes to mind. So it's really I would say it's opening campaigns mostly people who are religious people who feel like they could be an influencer, and it's easier for them to feel that way, which we don't want it to stay that way. Obviously, we want everyone to feel like the most secular Jew, even a person who has just started doing mitzvahs today, can feel like he could open a campaign. That would be the ultimate. But it's definitely not just within the Lubavitch community. Do we have ways to reach these people? Definitely, and we're working on it every day. We have people coming in. We have a studio. People coming in, telling us their stories. We make videos. YouTube videos, very popular. Instagram. These are just some of the avenues which we're trying to reach the audience outside Lubavitch.
Amazing. Bachi, you have a question? Bachi, you got to unmute. No? Okay. Rabbi,
Hello.
yes.
Hi.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. First, Mazel Tov. Could you please share me a flyer so I can share your organization to other Jewish?
I put it in the chat, OneMitzvah.org. It's in the chat, so you can see it there, and you can go right from there. You see, Bachi, look in the chat. You'll see it there.
But can I go out, or is it just